Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how Roman Lukaku is going to play in Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. The fact is that Chelsea already had an abundance of striking options with their summer last season, but this season they've added to their squad in a very big way. They've bought Romelu Lukaku. They brought him back for 115 million euros. A player they sold for 35 million euros 9 years ago. But the thing is that Romelu Lukaku has come back bigger, fitter, smarter, stronger, and is a completely different player than he was last season or the season before. Or the season before that was well. Bottom line is that he's a completely different player since when he left United. He's no longer that guy without a ton of it. Now he has a ton of pace. He has his legs back. He's leaner. He's meaner. He's faster. He's not just a player that holds up the ball. He can content players. He can run at goal. He's one of the best strikers in the world. And today we're going to discuss how he fits into Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Straight off the gates, I believe Thomas Tuchel is going to play the same formation slash system this season, a 3-4-3. It actually starts off more like a five, it started more like a 5-2-3, more like a 5-2-2-1 to be fair, but mostly in games is how they feel because the two wing backs they're not so high up that they are wingers, but they're not so back that they are more like right backs. They're more, yeah, this is about how they are. It's more of a 3-4-3. Yeah, technically speaking. So Thomas Tuchel most likely is going to line up with Romelu Lukaku up top with Mount and Havertz. They're not really wingers the way Thomas Tuchel plays his football. They are more like force. They're inside forward, so but they are 10s, so not exactly natural wingers that are cut from the wing in. They actually start more from the middle, drift out wide a bit, or go in. But their general average position is more inside than regular. So they are inside forwards, but they are more like force nines. It's like almost like a 2-force-9 system. So bringing in Romelu Lukaku, I believe most likely means Timo Werner is out the team. Even though Timo Werner normally plays in this position where Mount's playing in this formation, but then we require Jorginho's ability from deep to collect the ball and pass out, and then Kante's destructive ability to run back and front like some kind of machine, and Mason Mount from here and Kai Harris from here. So one of my few issues with this lineup is still Thiago Silva is still a great sweeper, but he doesn't have that pace anymore. So unlike most back threes where the sweeper is most farther forward in the middle, he might actually sit back a little bit, just a little bit deeper, because Mendy's ball distribution is not exactly the best. Then Rudiger pushes out here. Rudiger actually, for most of the game against Man City, was almost here for most of the game. So Rudiger pushes out a bit more. Aspilicueta still has a bit of legs in him. Alternatively, Thomas Tuchel might play Aspilicueta out wide and with James here for very difficult opponents, because that's what he played in the Champions League final. So this is still a possible way they could line up, but more often than not, it's going to be Aspilicueta in deep, who I believe might be phased out as the season progressed. Both him and Silva, they are in for Jules Koundé, which could be a great transfer for Chelsea. But recently, Chalobah's rise has actually been pretty impressive, because you could easily just see Chalobah here as the season progresses, Silva phased out, and Christensen in for Thiago Silva. Odegaard maintains his spot there. As the season fades out, this might be a way we see Chelsea line up at the back. But for the most part, it's going to be a 3-4-3 with two inside forwards and two marauding wing backs. So this is generally the way they're going to play. So this is Chelsea's average position, but as Thomas Tuchel likes to say, he has no best 11. It depends on the match he's playing. So if they are going to play a smaller team this season, I can hazard a guess to say for the smaller teams in the league, I would say he will stick with Ben Chilwell, Luis James, Chalobah will get a couple of games. It's not really going to be Christensen. More often than not, it's going to be Thiago Silva even for the small games, because the less pace to worry about in behind. Rudiger will maintain his position for most of the season. Um, we might not see this Jorginho Kante partnership all the time. I feel for some matches he might drop Jorginho, put Mount deeper into the midfield, which will carry Kante a bit back in, and then you now have Timo Werner. Timo Werner lining up out here. So with Timo Werner, the thing you have is that you have a bit more pace and a bit more width, so dragging out defenses wider, which is an advantage of playing with Timo Werner. Just dragging out defenses a little bit wider, enabling them to cut inside. Normally Lukaku to drop from deep. So normally Lukaku can receive the ball from deep. Timo Werner can run in. Lukaku can give the ball to Timo Werner, and Timo Werner can miss the entire goal. Yeah, so barring Timo Werner's disastrous season to be in, and so I'm going to try and stay a little bit more positive with Chelsea. This is a way we can see them line up a lot. Then it's also possible you might drop Kai Havertz, play Mason Mount, play someone like Loftus-Cheek. I feel like he might have a big season in Chelsea this season. Drop Chalobah, play Azpilicueta, and so that way they could line up against the smaller teams in the league. But Romelu Lukaku is going to be a mainstay, or less when fit, he's going to be a mainstay this season. Yeah, for all the faults of Timo Werner, the one thing you can't take away from him is that he has that ability to really run into space. Yeah, so more often than not, okay, let's say there is an opposition player, yeah, there's an opposition player, a defender here that's running very tight to Timo Werner. He can drag the play out wide, allowing Lukaku to run here and receive the ball. And then if that's a defender, or maybe there are two defenders, if that defender also comes close to Lukaku, and Lukaku has the ability to run to hold up this ball, and Timo Werner just in the nick of time, and because Lukaku still has a great turn of pass, which is like one of the main positives is coming back with, Lukaku can actually swing a pass into space for Timo Werner to run into that space, and then take this ball into here for someone like Mount or Reece James to receive the ball from out wide as well, and swing it back inside for Mount. By this time the defender has moved, Lukaku is into space. A quick 1-2 with Lukaku. A quick 1-2 with Romelu Lukaku. A quick 1-2 with Romelu Lukaku and go. Very possible way that they could actually play this season. But the thing is about Thomas Tuchel's system is that he plays in such a way where it's predictable for the most part. It's predictable for the most part. That's just the thing about Thomas Tuchel's football. It's predictable for the most part. The wing backs will maraud forward. Jorginho will detect play from deep. Kante will dominate this area of the pitch. Rudiger will go out wide for Chilwell to come in deep, for Timo Werner to cut inside, Lukaku to hold up the ball, Mount to do his thing, with James to be almost certainly the farthest player forward. So more often than not, this is how they're going to play. Azpilicueta is going to come in here, Gino is going to come in deep, it's going to be around here, Kante might drop in or maraud forward depending on the system being played. So more often than not, this is Chelsea's football. It's predictable, but they are so good at it, and they have the ability to really compress when they are defending. It's really terrifying the way they can compress when defending. Just compress right back, tight into the back to block this. So even when oppositions so even when the opposition is attacking, they are so crowded, and like with James' turn of pace and Chilwell's turn of pace, like almost always just covers it up. And this is the thing, even when the opposition still somehow gets to break the press and shoots the ball, Even when the opposition breaks the press and shoots the ball, Mendy is such a good shot stopper in so many ways that he's like having a great keeper is very important for this kind of system. And Chelsea have that in Mendy. Like not for a lot of money like Kepa, but they do have that. A great shot stopper. He's not great with his feet, which is like one of their flaws. But their defense has the ability to be very compact. Their forward has the ability to be compact. Can be compact if they have someone like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. Can be wide if they have someone like Romelu. It can be wide if they have someone like Romelu Lukaku. Someone like Timo Werner, they can play a little bit wider because Kai Havertz still has a bit of pace in his legs. Can be if they have someone like that. Can be rotational because Lukaku does drift to the left every once in a while. Then Kai Havertz can still come to the center. Timo Werner can pull up defenses, or Mount can come in to assist to crowd this penalty box and have someone like Chilwell very out wide. So they have lots of ways they can actually play, and that's the thing. It's really good to look at when you're talking about their football, and that's why they don't really have a best 11. But this might be my recommended 11 for Thomas Tuchel this season. So like I know better than the guy that just won the Champions League against my team. But yeah, and that's why if they had a keeper, like okay. For instance, now, yeah, Kepa is very good with his feet. If he was a better shot stopper and he could do amazing swinging balls. If Kepa had that, if Kepa was actually a better shot stopper and he could play some amazing cross-field football balls to people like Chilwell, for instance. Now, if they had this like an Edison. So like a good shot stopper with great range of pass. If they had something like this, their counter attack would be a lot more devastating. And someone like Lukaku that has a ton of pace and mount, and it would be devastating for most defenses. But what they do more often than not is that instead of it being Kepa to distribute the ball, they just get the ball out to. Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you on that. So what they do is that in most cases, instead of it being Kepa, what is that Rudiger is out wide, get the ball out to Silva, and Silva does that pass like Van Dijk passes to Chilwell, or he can pass that same kind of pass to someone like Aspilicueta, who is like marauding. So that same kind of pass can be passed to someone like Aspilicueta, who can receive the ball. So that's the great thing about having Silva. Silva does have that pass, which is why I wouldn't remove Silva for most games. Just that he's old and he can't play most games. Because if you take out Thiago Silva and you bring in someone like Christensen doesn't have this range of pass. He can't give you these passes. He can try, but he can't. So you end up requiring. So when you play someone like Christensen, you end up needing to take the ball. You need to take the ball to someone like Jorginho, and then require Jorginho to be the one who makes these passes. And in this case, most likely to Reece James, and not even Chilwell, probably a Timo Werner. So I'll have to remove Mount and play Timo Werner, who is running into space. But you see, this is why it's best when it's from the goalkeeper. But you can't trust Kepa, and you have Mendy, whose distribution is not the best. So therefore, you can't really play Christensen unless you're going to play Christensen out on the right and remove Aspilicueta and play Silva in the middle. But generally, this is how I see Chelsea lining up this season. Lukaku up front, Mount, Havertz, Kante, Jorginho, Chilwell, James, Aspilicueta, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, and Mendy. And I think As much as it pains me to say, I feel this team can actually win the league. If I could do one thing, to this, it would actually, if I could do just one thing, it would be to remove Aspilicueta and play and get in Jules Koundé. I know people love Chalobah, and it's been 2 great games in the open season, and Chelsea fans might hate me, but you do not understand, like, the gravity to which Jules Koundé can be amazing for Chelsea. Jules Koundé would be amazing because for France, he was playing right back for in these Euros. So taking someone that can play right back, can play right-sided centre back, left-sided centre back, right on the tree, and putting him here, he can play in the middle. But the only problem with Koundé is that he doesn't really have the height. So something you could do is that you can play Koundé here. You can remove Silva. You can play Aspilicueta, so he gets like he's ready to run here. Play Rudiger in the middle and play Koundé out left. He has done that for Sevilla. So it's another way you could play. And then having a player that can do that for you is really, really good. Plus, he can really run with the ball into midfield, which will enable you not necessarily have to play Jorginho. You might now be able to play someone like Kovacic in the midfield more often against big or small teams. If you have someone like Koundé here playing with him, and Kante is just a monstrosity in this side, then you have another runner with the ball. Then you can now afford to not always play Mount, but Chelsea fans will kill me, so drop Havertz and play Timo Werner. Then you might drop Chilwell because Koundé can actually cover this area even more than Rudiger, and play, let's see, Alonso. So I really feel Chelsea should put in the efforts to get someone like Koundé. Alternatively, somebody else that could do wonders for Chelsea and actually really change the way they are playing is if they buy Declan Rice. I feel if they buy Declan Rice, this is what I would honestly do. If you buy Declan Rice, I would play Rudiger, I would drop Aspilicueta, I would play Christensen, I would play Reece James. I'm not playing Alonso in a fallback. Then Chilwell, Rice sitting, Kante, Mount, Werner, Lukaku, Havertz. If Chelsea could buy a true holding midfielder, they wouldn't need to play a 3 at the back. Then some matches you can drop James and play Aspilicueta just well, and it works just as well for them, because Aspilicueta does still have a bit of legs in him. He can't play every game, but he could still do this easy. And I feel if they could buy Declan Rice, they could do this, because the fact is that Declan Rice has the ability to push forward, but you see with England that he can actually go back a bit and make it almost form like a tree, then allow Chilwell to push. Not Aspilicueta in this case, but maybe Aspilicueta, but I would prefer James. Then Kante to do his thing, Mounts, and then that way you can play Mount in his preferred 8th position because he has Declan Rice covering for him. You could even do this. You could even play Chilwell, Rudiger, Christensen, Rice covering here, Kante, Mount in the middle, Havertz, Werner, Lukaku. Then that way you can even fall back to easily fall back to a 4-2-3-1, easy. But if you notice, the person I'm keeping in this season or throughout the whole process is Lukaku, because that's why they bought him. Alternatively, if you buy someone like Kante, like Rice, I mean, you might be able to rest Kante in some games, play Rice here, play Mount as an 8 beside him, play Havertz as a 10, his actual preferred position, Lukaku Yeah, and then you get to play somebody I haven't even called up in this whole team. You get to play someone like Callum Hudson-Odoi, who really has pace, or you can drop Callum Hudson-Odoi and play someone like Ziyech. So if I say if they should buy somebody else, even if it's not Rice, they've been linked with Jude Bellingham. They won't get Bellingham because I don't even think they need Bellingham because they have Mount to place like Bellingham. So that would be good. So there is a possibility of they could just pay this submission with this. But then the problem with this is that they don't have anybody that can drop into the midfield. Kante can't drop into the defense. I mean, it's not going to happen. Mount is not going to drop into the defense. Even if you take out Ziyech, play Havertz out inside forward, you play Mount, and then you bring back who? Jorginho. Jorginho is not going to drop into the defense. Kante is not dropping into the defense. Who else do they even have as an option? Yeah. So these people are not going to drop into the defense. Loftus-Cheek is not going to drop into the defense. Kovacic is not going to drop in the defense, which explains to you why he was playing this 3 at the back system and he's still playing it. They don't really have somebody dropping defense, so 2 at the back, 4 at the back right now is not a reality for Chelsea. It's just not going to happen. So most likely again this season is what they're going to play unless they get a true holding midfielder. I would recommend Rice. On another note, I know dropping Jorginho seems like a sin, but I don't think I would mind this. Even if you could remove Timo Werner and play Christian Pulisic, who can play the left, can play the right. So this is on that thing. Yeah. And that's basically how I feel Chelsea will end up this season with Lukaku. Thank you guys, and until next time, remember to like, subscribe, follow, and bye.